Emily's 2-year-old son Joshua had his mother waiting a long time for his first words. Most children should already be talking at his age, at least the basic words like mommy and dada. But when Joshua finally spoke his first words, they were like those at all. The words really worried Emily, as she could not understand where they came from. It got to a point where the desperate woman felt like she had no other choice but to call 911. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Emily had been expecting her baby Joshua to say his first words for a long time now. She knew that babies should start talking a little bit after about 15 months, but it had already been 2 years almost and Joshua still had not uttered a cohesive word, but nonsensical baby noises. She had spoken to doctors about this on multiple occasions. People that were experts in the field of infant behavior, and all of them were saying the same thing. They could not find anything explicitly wrong with Joshua. She discussed these worries with Joshua's father, Jack. They have separated not long after Joshua was born. Their relationship had already been going downhill for a while, and Emily hoped that the baby was going to save their union. Jack did want to stay in the life of Joshua, however, and so they came to the agreement that Joshua would stay at his father's every other weekend. So Emily figured that Jack should be just as concerned about the fact that something could potentially be wrong with the mate. Emily just could not understand it. She felt like she was standing alone in her worries, and it felt incredibly lonely. She kept trying to get Joshua to say at least one word, and her heavy focus was on mommy, but it felt like it was no use. Emily was at work twice a week, and in that time a babysitter was looking after Joshua. It was a 15-year-old girl who lived in her street, and Emily had deemed her very capable. Joshua was also a very easy child, and there was never any trouble. But the message that Emily had just received shocked her so much that she immediately excused herself from her boss and headed home. It only took Emily 15 minutes to make it home. The young babysitter was already waiting in the doorway with Joshua in her arms. She was a bit shaken up by her ordeal. Emily rushed to the front door and took Joshua out of her arms before going inside together. The babysitter explained that they had just been playing like normal. She had even brought a new toy for Joshua, a cube that he could press and it would make simple words, all to help him develop his speaking. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Joshua started saying words that she had never heard him speak before. "It's too late." Emily's heart raced as she replayed the babysitter's words in her mind. "It's too late," she whispered to herself, puzzled and alarmed. How could Joshua, who had barely spoken, utter such a phrase? Doubt clouded her thoughts. With determination, Emily dialed Jack's number, her fingers trembling slightly. When Jack answered, she didn't waste a moment. "Did Joshua ever hear something like 'it's too late' at your place?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. Jack's pause felt like an eternity before he finally answered. "No, nothing like that." Jack's denials did little to ease Emily's worries. Instead, they amplified her feeling of isolation and her concerns for Joshua. Days following, a profound silence enveloped the house. Emily watched Joshua, waiting for any sound that might spill from his lips. The silence broke one afternoon as Joshua played with a new toy. Emily froze as the familiar phrase, "it's too late," filled the room, clear and deliberate from Joshua's mouth. Driven by a need for answers, Emily delved into books, consulted online forums, and reached out to child development specialists. Each attempt to understand the source and meaning behind "it's too late" became a mission. Yet, the repetition of "it's too late" from Joshua's lips left Emily enveloped in a state of shock. Each occurrence of the phrase intensified her concern for Joshua's well-being. Overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty, Emily made the difficult decision to dial 911, her voice trembling as she sought help. "My son. He's saying things, troubling things," she stammered to the operator. The operator's calm response offered a glimmer of hope, directing Emily to a pediatric specialist who could delve deeper into Joshua's sudden verbal outbursts. Within hours, an appointment was secured, a testament to the seriousness with which her concerns were taken. Upon their arrival, the doctor greeted them with a blend of professional concern and genuine curiosity. As Emily recounted the events leading up to their visit, her voice laced with anxiety, the doctor listened intently, nodding occasionally. In the examination room, Joshua sat quietly, his eyes wide and observing. Despite the flurry of activity around him, he remained silent, as if the weight of the situation had muted his voice. When their turn finally came, the doctor's initial reaction was one of perplexity. As he met Joshua and listened to Emily's detailed account, his professional facade betrayed a hint of confusion. To provide clarity, Emily presented the toy to the doctor. With a gentle press, Joshua activated it, and once again, "it's too late" filled the room. The doctor observed intently, his eyes flicking between the toy and Joshua. The doctor, now armed with this new evidence, began to speculate. Joshua may have formed an associative bond with this phrase through the toy's repetition, he suggested, his tone reflective. The doctor, seeking to ease Emily's concerns, suggested that Joshua's case might be an unusual instance of associative learning. Children sometimes form unexpected connections, he explained, his voice laced with reassurance. As Emily mulled over the doctor's words, her thoughts inadvertently drifted back to Jack. Could the phrase have originated from him? Despite the babysitter's evident concern, Emily couldn't shake the suspicion that Jack might hold the key to this mystery. The possibility that Joshua had picked up the phrase during one of his stays with his father gnawed at her, urging her towards seeking definitive answers. Determined to uncover the truth, Emily resolved to confront Jack directly. As the moment to confront Jack drew nearer, Emily felt the weight of anticipation pressing down on her. As they sat across from each other, the distance felt wider than the physical space between them. When Emily broached the subject of Joshua's first words, Jack's immediate response was denial. "I have no idea where he could have heard that," he asserted, his voice steady yet betraying a hint of defensiveness. Emily, however, sensed evasion. Emily's persistence was unyielding. Amid the tension and conflict, a glimmer of understanding began to emerge. As Jack confronted the reality of the situation, Emily's perspective shifted. The realization that there might be more to Joshua's words than mere mimicry dawned on her. In a moment of quiet observation, the toy, innocuous in appearance, emitted sounds that captured Joshua's attention and Emily's. It was this interaction, the child's focus on the toy's repetitive noise. As she watched Joshua, a realization dawned on Emily. The connection between the toy's sounds, the phrase "it's too late," and Joshua's repetition became unmistakably clear. This epiphany bridged the gap between her fears and the reality of the situation. Faced with the inescapable link between the toy's sounds and Joshua's words, Jack found himself cornered by the truth. The undeniable evidence of the toy's impact on Joshua, presented by Emily, demanded acknowledgement. In the face of overwhelming evidence, Jack's resistance crumbled. He confessed to a moment of vulnerability, a time when the phrase "it's too late" was a verbal manifestation of his own despair witnessed, unwittingly, by Joshua. This confession, raw and filled with remorse, marked a cathartic release for Jack, shedding light on the origin of the phrase that had so perplexed and concerned Emily. Emily's initial shock at Jack's admission gave way to a deeper understanding. She recognized the depth of Jack's despair and its unintended echo in Joshua's words. Jack's voice softened as he shared his remorse, admitting his moment of weakness had unforeseen effects on Joshua. "I never imagined my words would leave such a mark," he confessed, his tone lightened with regret. A sincere acknowledgement of the ripple effects his actions had on his son. Emily and Jack found themselves reflecting on the profound impact their interactions could have on Joshua. In the quiet aftermath of revelation and regret, the dialogue between Emily and Jack took a hopeful turn towards healing. Recognizing the importance of moving forward for Joshua's sake, they discussed ways to mend the emotional wounds opened by their past conflicts. United by their commitment to Joshua's well-being, they found common ground in their shared love for their son. Witnessing Joshua's progress filled Emily and Jack with pride and joy, reaffirming their commitment to his ongoing development and highlighting the positive impact of their united efforts. In a moment of quiet reflection, Emily and Jack shared their hopes and dreams for Joshua. Envisioning a bright future for their son, they pledged to maintain a united front, ensuring that Joshua would always feel supported and loved. The story culminates with the family spending quality time together, their bond stronger and more profound. Laughter and love fill their home, a testament to their journey and the obstacles they've overcome. Looking to the future, Emily, Jack, and Joa embrace each moment with hope and love, united as a family, ready for whatever adventures lie ahead.